I didn't, yeah, it is there actually.
So is there different
That's what
groupings
follow-
within
yeah.
SEO then? In terms of like.
Yeah, so we're the second grouping within our age bracket, which I think makes sense, right?
Second out of
How many?
2 or 5?
There's just two. Okay, yeah.
You sent it over to Team Zen?
Yeah, I sent it to Karen.
Okay, I wanted to bring it up, I don't think I can find it.
Yeah, so as you go.
14,
Mm-hmm.
4 was Luke.
It looks like we would play a home and away game.
No, it says 04, 05. They haven't updated
They haven't
it yet.
updated it yet. They only updated
I
it
can
for
tell you.
managers.
Can you forward it to me?
Yeah.
Okay, but in the meantime, so it's imperative that we get results is what I'm trying to say, right? Where last season and the season before, it didn't matter where you ended up, right? This season, it's important that you get results. So we're gonna have to, like, for example, today and the first game yesterday, maybe play a little bit more direct, maybe not take so many risks, right? Because we need to play for points, okay? Maybe some players won't play at the end of the game, some players won't get as many minutes, because we need to get results, right? Now, that still won't trump what the goal of the club is, which is to develop players to play at a higher level, especially when they're playing at the first and the first team of each age group, which is us, okay? I'm gonna recap last season a little bit for the ones who were here. It was very tough. It was very frustrating. It was both a combination of a lot of things, okay? And I thought the team regressed instead of progressed, but at the end of the day, that's how development at times is, okay? We also added a few players this season, subtracted a few players. So overall, I think the group is healthy, and I think the group is stronger compared to what we had last season. Now, I will say this, I'll set expectations. I don't know how this season's gonna go. We start the season on the 24th. Most likely we'll schedule the first game maybe the 25th, that's when the season starts, officially the 24th. We're still on the undersize as far as the spectrum goes. You notice today we played an 07 team, but that was 07 Development Academy, right? And that was an 07 team that's been together for 4 or 5 years since they were U8, okay? And even then, we still were not the most physical as far as every position goes. So, what do we do as a club? One, we need to be patient and help and wait for our boys to catch up on the growth scale. But two, we need to implement some sort of specialized training, which we've begun to do with Coach Archie, right? Some strength, some speed, agility training. Okay, we're gonna get into the conditioning as we move forward. And I'm also looking outside of the club as well, right? Over there at the Foundry, we did something 2 springs ago, I think, where we brought the kids in once a week to do some strength and conditioning work. I think we might revisit that. The only thing is we want to make sure that if we do it, we're consistent about attending, okay? And we have a plan as far as what the objectives are of what we want to do, okay? But I think it's important that it factors in where we cannot be ignoring that part of the development process. And obviously, it's a big thing for Juventus as well, right? So, having said that, I think we have a good enough group. Now, one of the things that last year affected us was and maybe it was a chicken egg thing, but at the end, towards the end of the season, we had 7, 8, 9 players attending trainings, right? It was very sporadic, it was very inconsistent, and I remember being here and thinking and saying at our parent meeting, the initial thing, hey, we want to get everybody to come to practice, we need everyone to come to practice, right? It started here, and then as we started to get less and less results, it declined. Well, this season has to be consistent because we have no other option. It means that if your son is not attending trainings and he's not attending practices, then he's not going to play half the game. He's going to play 10% of the game, maybe 20%. We'll play him for 10 minutes because now we are expected to compete, and at the same time, we're taken away from someone who may be at training. If we continue where we have 9 players at training, then we'll start the game with 9 players to make a statement. Because at the end of the day, we are representing now Juventus FC, right? And we have a mark on our back, and we have to make sure that we're showing well and that we're doing a good job. And the only way to do that is to have the players at training consistently. I know there's vacation time, but once school starts, that's when it starts to ramp up, right? And I think the club does a good job of giving enough break. But in terms of now that they're hitting U14, I think now that it starts to become more specialized, right? You need to be more consistent if they're going to play at this level. And if they don't want to play at this level, and I've said this to the boys already, now it's come the time where we might have to make the choice for you. You don't want to play at this level, well, will have to drop you even if you don't wanna say it. Because at the end, we need to be able to compete, and have a group as dedicated as the opponents that we're gonna be playing, okay? Now, I think part of the MPL, we have to play State Cup and Bowling, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know what that looks like yet. We don't know what the schedule looks like. I anticipate that we're gonna have games in January and February, so we'll have a lot more games this season than we had last season. We're gonna monitor, the health. I think already you can see that at this age, they start to pick up more injuries, little knocks. The good part about it is that we have a partnership with Stanford. So anytime someone gets injured, what I need you to do is to contact me, write me an email. We will refer the player to our Stanford partner, Stanford Children's Hospital. They will contact you, a physician will contact you. They specialize in sports medicine. So it's not just going to your pediatrician.
Yeah.
That's the word. Not going to a pediatrician who will do a checkup and say, oh, he's got a pool. You know, no, you wanna go to a sports doctor who will tell you exactly what the injury is and how to recover from the injury, as well as communicate that to me, because when we get them at practice, we need to know exactly what they're dealing with. And it's something that soccer is far more educated in this than any other sport. There came out, just a report just came out about basketball and the number of youth injuries that they're seeing, right? Because the coaches are overloading the players. And for us, we need to be very proactive. We even had them the first week of training where we had a couple players pick up injuries that you didn't see today, but they had come to practice already with these injuries, right? And so they need to communicate, hey, I'm feeling a little pool, I'm feeling a little banged up, and we need to be able to respond right away, and we need to know. So that's where if anyone picks up an injury, please send us an email. We will refer you to their doctor. As long as you have some sort of insurance, they will see any of our players as part of this partnership they have with Stanford.
Especially during the next month, since we're doing the performance training, it's
Correct.
just gonna aggravate you a lot.
Yeah, nutrition is another thing that we'll have a workshop as we move forward, but I think it's important that our boys are getting the right food and the right meals. I'm not a nutritionist, so I can't educate you on that, but I can bring in someone who will educate us on it. But it's important because they need the right fuel to begin to perform, right, at a level like the one we're playing at. Okay, tournaments. So this is what I've outlined. I know that, and this is why I wanted to have a meeting. Nothing's set in stone as far as right now. For me, the most important tournament that we could take is the Juventus trip. Okay, and that's where we may need to see where we save a little bit of money as far as traveling goes, so that we can dedicate more of it towards the trip. And when do we want to take this trip? So preliminarily, I would say because of our heavy league schedule, because of league and state cup, I would say we get our tournaments in between now and September, right? Or now in October, so that we get some games in for the preseason, but at the same time also, we save ourselves for the end of the season where we're gonna need more of our energy. So I have a couple. One of them is the Napa, we call it the Wine Country Classic, basically just a tournament in Napa, okay, which is August 31st and September 1st. That's Labor Day weekend. Or we can do what we did last season, which was we can go to NHB in LA, which is a very good tournament. Last season we got to the semifinals, right? We could do either or. Obviously the one to LA will be more expensive because we have to book with them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And obviously there's the travel involved and the food. But the one in Napa, I think, I don't know how far Napa is from here, but I think you could go back and forth. You don't have to stay. It's close enough,
Hour
right?
and a half.
Yeah.
Hour and a half,
Yeah.
where if
2 hours.
families who don't wanna stay, don't have to stay.
Yeah.
Like 2 hours in traffic.
NHB, the entrance fees are $12.95, right?
Yeah.
I don't know, Napa might be less. I'm sure it's less than that, maybe 300, 400 bucks less. So I don't know how we wanna make a decision as far as this goes. Do you wanna tell me now what we prefer? Anybody wanna speak up and say, hey, you know what, the NHB last season was a bit tough over Labor Day weekend. We prefer to rather stay local. And I say that because then, you know, our next tournament after that would be the 28th and 29th. I think that's where we can schedule a tournament. And again, a little bit before State Cup starts and all that. And that would be in Davis. I like going to the Davis tournaments for the reason that the fields are very good. You get good opponents, again, it's not too far. And we're avoiding playing locally because we don't wanna support the guy who's running tournaments against us. tournaments. We don't wanna support that guy because he's actively working against the club. So,
Yeah, just real quick addition, the first one, like kind of away tournament we took was Phoenix, and the club and the boys, and we did a lot just to fundraise for all families. And that first fundraising weekend, I think we made like some $2,500 that helped reduce all the cost or helped for some players to go. So anyway, as a group, we should just be thinking, we have several tournaments ahead, like this tournament too, we could have fundraised or other ones, and there's other things we can do as a group just to help fundraise as a group, so.
yeah, and I don't know, it would be nice if someone could take the lead on this. I know Danielle's working now with the club, so she has less and less time, and my time is dedicated mostly in the day to other club stuff. I don't know if there's any volunteers who can help us organize this, I don't know, in that, hey, this is what our budget is, and one of the reasons we wanna do this is because in our follow-up meeting, because not everyone's here, we would like to have a budget of what every family we should expect to have to pay on additional activities such as the tournaments and the travel, right? So that we know exactly, this is what the budget is for the next 6 months, this is how much I need to be able to
Yeah,
pay.
I think if we're creating a pathway to go to Italy, then we go to Napa versus NHB.
Correct.
And then for me, it's easier if parents, most parents probably are gonna need some saving, like even anyone who has a lot of money needs some savings to go to Italy for, 2 plus 3 people in their family. So I think if we go to Napa and we're planning on going to Italy and we can plan now, we definitely have enough runway to start to fundraise. And I can do that with any other parent who wants to help out. And I think it's a great opportunity for some of these kids, like, to just go out of the country.
Correct. To travel as a.
Yeah.
So if we're all in agreement, and obviously we can extend this to the ones who are not here, I would say the same. I would say we avoid going to LA this fall at least.
Mm-hmm.
I would save our LA trip to either a surf cup, which is in May, okay? Or El Cerrito, which is in May, Memorial Day, right? So that way, our major trips in the second half of the season might be just Italy and one more tournament in May, right? And then our local tournaments here would be Davis and Napa, right? Because again, we still have the league and the state cup that we have to play.
Because even our league games are gonna be
A
Santa
little bit further out.
Rosa, Marin, they're not local.
Yeah.
Palo Alto, I think, is one.
Palo Alto will be the most local game. We'll have to play
Yeah,
in Santa Rosa, in Petaluma. We'll have to play at La Mirinda, which is in Orinda, Lafayette, Moraga.
Yeah.
And then Almaden will be down in San Jose, and then Palo Alto will be here. So it's a bit of a trip for the Santa Rosa and the Petaluma
It'll
games.
be home and away games, right, probably 2 games.
I'm assuming 2 home and away, round robin. Is that what a round robin?
Yeah.
Yeah, because we have at least 10 games.
Yeah, it's 10 games per season.
Yeah,
Plus
but
whatever we
yeah,
have.
5 opponents, so that'll be 2 10 games.
10 games, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think then, I think we need to go to Napa over the weekend on the Labor Day.
One thing on the Italy trip, if we take any unaccompanied children, like where the parents are going abroad,
Yeah.
that will require, some preparation and paperwork.
Yeah,
Right.
you need notarized,
Authorization forms.
authorization, all of those things, pretty big deal.
And I'll ask, so I'll get into the Italy thing now. So
Yeah.
this is the presentation that they've sent to me to show to the families. What the project is, I'm not sure if you can see this. A unique experience to all those who want to live closely the amusement and the Juventus teaching methods in the black and white capital, which is in Turin, north of Italy. Activities are designed for all ages and abilities, and they vary according to the packages that are available. Obviously, they're making it that all levels and any teams can, in any age group between 8 and 19 can attend. They also have extracurricular activities such as attending a game at the stadium, doing a stadium tour, and then for the parents, they take the parents to Milan, I guess, and they also take them to wine tasting in some part of the. Yeah, it's funny, right? But it's what it is, right? So they've told me basically that they want a group of at least 15 players. So what we can do is we have already 18 to 19 on our roster. Assuming that not everyone can go, we can always take guest players. And for me, that's a good way to recruit a few other players from outside the club.
How about the older team, are you taking any of them, or?
We could take a couple of the 05s, we could take some of the 07s, we could take from the outside. It just depends on making sure we know exactly who can and can't go, or who, you know. I would like all 19 of us to go, or 18 of us to go, because the kids, I think this is a unique experience. I think this is the first thing that popped out when we decided to join and create this partnership with Juventus. I went in February, and it's fantastic. I like the fact that it's a smaller town, so it's not so, you know, big or chaotic. It was easy to get around, like most things in Europe. And I thought that the Juventus itself, the way they're creating, the environment they're creating is fantastic. Novo, where the training complex is, state of the art. And obviously it's Juventus. I tell my wife, it's like surreal sometimes. It's like if Barcelona were to say, hey, Anderson, you want to bring the teams to Barcelona to see Ronaldo or Messi and this and that, just let me know, call me. And I'm like, wait, what? Really? I can, you know? So I think for me, it's something that we definitely have to do. You have to. And I know, you know, we're prepared how we need to prepare, but we need to go. So here's what it entails. We're going to be doing a lot of sessions and field activity for the players and coaches. We'll do the stadium to the museum. They give us a official kit, I guess, to go with what we already have. And then this is where we will be staying, the Cantaloupa Sports Village campus. This is the stadium, everything that's available for us. We can even, I guess, meet a Juventus legend like Del Piero or any Buffon maybe. The good part too is that they'll pick us up at the airport, they'll transport us around Italy in a chartered bus, and that's already included in the initial cost per family, right? So we don't have to worry about getting a taxi or a bus or anything like that. Transportation is included in it. These are some of the pictures that you can see, right? This is their stadium, the museum, their stadium, their training. We'll have games as well, so we'll be scrimmaging against the academies they have. So Juventus has its main academy, just like Barcelona, La Masia. They have their main academy in Vinovo, which is a little bit outside of Turin. And then they have satellite academies around the city, right? So, you know, think of it as, okay, we'll play in the north Turin Juventus Academy, and we're going to play the south Turin Juventus Academy. Sometimes we'll scrimmage the actual Juventus Academy, right? So out of the satellite academies, they draw their players, and they filter them, the best players, into the main Juventus Academy, okay, in Vinovo, sorry. This is the complex. I haven't been there yet, but they say it's really nice. I asked Stefano, who's Italian, and he says it's nice. This is where most of the teams, then when they go, they stay in, because the facilities is right next to the hotel. You can just walk. There is another hotel you could choose, but I think to avoid the travel and this and that, I think this would be the best one. This is what it includes: 2 grass football fields, 1 sports center with a gym, futsal, and a track, and even a climbing wall. Fitness trail and a forest path, swimming pool, and I guess there's archery if you want to shoot. That's cool. Okay, it's a 3-star hotel is what they designed it as, but I think from what I've heard and asked around, it's really good. So, and everything is walking distance, right? So this is a training facility for me, for the kids. This is what you do when you go on a national team visit, or you go on an international trip. You want to be next to where you need to train, so that you go and come back and you're able to recover. This is the distances. The city center, where we are in Cantaloupa, gets here. Okay, and again, the best thing is that we have transportation. Vinovo is where Juventus itself trains. Over here, so we're closer to the training center at Vinovo. We will have 1 training center at the facility for sure, guaranteed, if not more. Okay, and then obviously who to contact and this and that. So that's the trip in a nutshell. I'll give you a sample itinerary. This was Houston. They went back in, I think, what did you say, in March. Okay, so they left. They arrived on a Saturday, so I'm assuming they left on a Friday night, maybe red eye. Got there at 8 in Milan, and then they took the bus to Cantaloupa, which is outside Turin. They had lunch. In the afternoon, they had the meeting, and they got their kits delivered. They met at the field. They did their training session. That's at what, 3:30 to 5, so an hour and a half of training session to get the kids the jet lag out. free time, and then dinner at the hotel, okay? Saturday morning, training session, lunch, meet at the field, training session again, so they're doing double days, okay? Free time and then dinner. Monday, they did the museum tour and the stadium, in the morning. Then they had a match, right? 2 matches. Yes, they had 2 groups. Okay, then back to the hotel and then dinner. Meeting in the morning, they did a city tour. And then lunch, they got lucky because they got to see a Champions League game. And that was the one against Atletico Madrid where they came back. They were down 3-0, they came back to win it. So I think for us, if we do go on some time, it'd be nice to make a match with the Champions League. That'd be great. Wednesday morning, so this was an off day for them. They were back, training session, and then training session again. I guess the parents got to go to the winery tour. Okay, so they left in the morning, and then they bus transfer. Thursday, again, another training session, but this time in De Novo at the actual Juventus facility. And then they had a game in the afternoon, right? C-Sport is the satellite academies that they have against the 06s and the 09s. And then Friday, they left, okay? So I think it was what, from Friday to Friday, 6-7 days maybe? They flew out Friday, they were there Saturday, and then they left on Friday again.
So is the expectation that, in the evening they're with the parents? Is that?
At nighttime.
Yeah.
So yeah, at nighttime they're with the parents, but overall, they're either in the hotel or they're training on the field, right? Or they have games. I think that, you know, it's funny, someone asked me, I think it was Kurt maybe, or I don't know who asked me, but basically somebody asked me, we need all the parents to go? And I said, no, usually when you travel with a team, it's one coach, one manager, maybe another parent, overseeing the group of 15 to 20 kids, right? So not everybody has to go. Usually these trips, parents don't go. And at some point, it'd be nice, and now I'm talking to Eric, the board member, not the parent, to have a program just similar to what we used to do with the academy on when we travel, how we travel guidelines, where the team travels together and the parent maybe accompany, but not everybody goes in there, because that creates this, you know, fosters a spirit of teamwork and community on that.
If parents do go, can we avoid having to see our children during that
We can
time?
avoid it.
Okay,
Honestly,
good. All right.
If
Just
we were to
checking.
arrange transportation to every tournament we go to, I would be more than happy to watch your kids. And I've gone through a lot of trips with the academy. When I was with the academy, we never lost a kid. Everybody got married. So I think I'm more than qualified, and at their age, they can start, rooming together and learning how to be in a team setting versus having mom and dad. And I think as far as performance goes, it's better because you can help. You're able to get the kids focused on the task at hand. When they're with you, unfortunately, I can't control what they're doing, but when they're with me, I can control. And when we travel, the agenda for me was always having them do something or something prepared, whether it was a team tactical talk in the morning, team building, right? Going on a walk, going to watch a game, or study hall. A lot of it, most of the time, was study hall, right? But as a group, the more time they spend together, the less they're thinking about what mom and dad are thinking, the more they're thinking about what the team needs and what I need to do to perform, to be ready, right? Especially now that we're at this age where it's, okay, we're getting you ready so that you can play at a higher level.
So we could have they could end up being just rooms of just the boys.
It could be just, we can arrange that,
Drop them off and
have the
we'll come
boys, yeah, have the boys stay. I know it's more economical to have, the kids stay with the parents, but for me, if we were to budget really well, it'd be like, let's get 5 rooms, 2-door room, or if the rooms are big enough, 4-door room. With the academy, we used to get suites, where it was 2 beds or 4 beds. Banda recuerdo. But basically, that's how we would like to travel. And it requires some planning, but it's doable for sure, even with flights.
So, so I understand the date hasn't set yet, do you?
No, so this is what I wanted to pitch to the
Yeah,
parents,
so
because
is
this is
there like a possibility, what are the most possible happening time frame?
yeah, so I would suggest this. Ideally, you wanna go while they're playing, so that's between mid-September and late May, where Juventus season, first team is playing. Second, I would suggest nothing more than 6 to 7 days, because you may or may not have to miss school, depending on when we go. The teams are off in Christmas. Everybody in the world celebrates Christmas, right? So that's not a date that we could use. For me, because we need time to look at flights, because flights will be the biggest expense, I think, or one of the biggest expense. I think the best time to go is within February or March. We went in February as coaches, and our flights were around $700, I think, round trip. So it wasn't too bad. And I think that as far as the accommodation goes, they are giving us a price quote. So we say we have 18 players, we have 6, 7 parents, right? They'll give us a price quote for the extended time. We say we go 7 days, right? Then it's, what they've told me, it averages about 100 to 120 euros a day. What that includes is the transportation, bus transfers, includes all the meals, okay, and then everything that we do over there as far as the training goes, okay? So once we do that, they arrange everything, they do the accommodation, we don't have to worry about booking hotels. All we need to do is book the flights. So, that's where we would need to have more time in advance. The more time you plan for, the cheaper your flight can be, right? And I think I've even seen it as low as 500 to 600, especially during February and March, because that's the winter over there. It's not that cold where I think we're gonna be freezing. It's not Iceland or whatever. It's, like San Francisco cold, I would say, right? 40s, 50s at the lowest. But I think it'd be nice to go around that time. Now, how to avoid us missing so much school? Maybe we go on a Memorial Day, was it Memorial Day? President's Day weekend, right? Where we either leave the weekend before or the weekend of, right? Where they may miss 3 to 4 days of school, but that's about it. We can have them prepare as far as asking the teachers to give them their homework. We can have study hall. And like Houston, right? Leave on a Friday night, come back on a, the next week Friday, right? Be back by Saturday, right? So we either leave the weekend before the day of President's Day, we leave on Friday. They miss Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and we come back on a Friday or Saturday, right? 3 days of school, and it's not too bad. Yeah, it's good. And it's a good time within our season because we're done with the first half of the season. With league play, at least on the NPL side, we have time to budget, right, and fundraise. And then, we have some time before the season starts up again in March. Yeah. Okay, so other than that, I don't know how, Danielle, do you think we want to decide? I know we need to get everybody else in the room. We're missing a few parents.
I mean, I can create an event in teams not that size, like the Italy trip, and then you guys say if you want to go or not. And if we have majority, if we have at least 15 players, then we say it's a go.
Okay.
And then everyone with the understanding that even if you think you can't afford it financially, we'll work as a team to get every player there, because we know it's not just about, yeah, it's really just about the experience for these kids. I mean, this team has gone to, I think, LA, and for some of the kids, it was the first time on a plane, and so we're really just trying to develop an experience for the players to realize that soccer can get you these advantages. So, I think that's the best way to decide, right? If people want to go. I mean, does anyone not want to go to Italy?
Yeah, just price, timing, schedule, details, yeah.
It'd be important to explain, what we just talked about in terms of do parents have to come or not, how many, and all that. I think that's a huge multiplier on the cost.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most cost
For
effective.
folks that haven't attended this meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I said, you don't have to attend. Obviously, I need at least 2 parents, 2 to 3 maybe, 3, just to be safe. And then the rest, I'll tell you, when the national team travels, they travel with 3 or 4 adults, right? This is the U.S. national team.
Yeah.
Right? When they go to Italy, when they go to Spain, when they go to any tournament.
So it's usually more like a field trip, right?
Basically.
Yeah.
So that's how we position it.
Yeah.
That's how we
Right.
position it.
So
And then you have a few minders that come along.
Yeah, we'll have a follow-up meeting. I just want to get an
A week
initial.
or two, no way, because like this was kind of last minute meeting, I think that's why we got a roll.
No, I know, and but I think it's better to start putting in the
No,
parent lines
definitely.
before, and then we can talk with other parents, and then we'll have one more meeting before we decide.
But
But
you can just tell the parents, they can just message you on the
Yeah.
side if they don't feel comfortable,
I would say that I would budget within flights and, length of stay, around 1,500 to 2,000 per player, just to be on the safe side, right? And hopefully it could be less, and, know, it's not far-fetched. I know not everyone here has a professional aspiration. I'd say the majority of our kids, I don't think I see that, and so I'm not kidding myself. But for the one or two, I remember that in every team, there's always one or two players that are aspiring to something bigger. And if you don't know, I brought my cousin last year for the summer camps. My cousin's Josh Perez. He plays for LAFC, which is the first team right now, the first place team in MLS. And his journey was 13 years old. He came here to NorCal. He's from Southern LA to be seen by a Fiorentina FC coach, which is an Italian team, right? Not as big as Juventus. The coach saw him at 13 years old, liked what he saw, and took him to Fiorentina, where he lived between 16 and 18 in Florence, beautiful city. They paid everything, obviously, including giving his mom a stipend to stay with him between 16 and 18 years old, right, until he was able to sign a professional contract. He debuted at 18 against Inter de Milan at the San Siro, one of the most mythical stadiums, right? Now his journey has brought him back to LA. But to me, he's a Salvadorian kid, and if you guys don't know, I'm Salvadorian. We're from Central America, smallest country maybe in Central America, I think. And for us, for me, it's something huge, because who would have thought a Central American kid could make it to one of the biggest teams in Italy, right? One of the biggest teams in the world, Fiorentina, right? And yeah, it was all over the news in El Salvador, and there was a lot of buzz about it, and there still is. I mean, he's still a professional aspiring player. So to me, it's not so far-fetched to say that one of our kids, whether it's this group or the groups coming up or the ones ahead of us, there might be one kid that they might see and they say, you know what, he's better than what we had. We want to see him here. And to me, if that's what that ambition is for that player, then I'm all for giving them the opportunity, right, to see what they do before it. Everyone else, they'll always remember the time they went to Italy and they did this trip, right, and they saw what they saw and they experienced it. So, including myself, right? So I think it's definitely going to be worth it.
Just keeping focus on time. It's 11:45.
Yeah,
We gotta.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions?
I think there's a lot more follow-up on this, I guess.
Yeah, we'll have another parent meeting. I wanted to plant the seed and I wanted to get out ahead as opposed to waiting. It's gonna be hard to always get everyone in the room, it seems, right? But we'll try, but.
Is there a tournament for all the Juventus Academy teams?
There is,
When is that?
that's in June. So they'll have a tournament for next June, but I think our group might be too old to attend.
Oh, really?
I think they'll go 07, 08, and then 09, 10. This year it was 06, 07, 8, 9.
I see.
So we missed it by a season. But who knows, maybe they'll extend it to that age. Our coach will be here, our Juventus coach will be here August 8th through the 16th. So you'll see him out that week. I think we're planning an information night as well. But it'll be nice for you to see that this isn't just a jersey thing, it's an actual partnership, right? So. All right. So Danielle, you'll set it up on Teams now?
Yeah.
I think we should plan around that President's Day weekend.
Oh, to go,
Mhm.
okay.
And I think it's a 6 to 7 day trip, I think is more than enough.
February.
In February.
Okay.
And then, we'll budget for Napa, I guess, plan for the Napa tournament and the Davis tournament,
Mm-hmm.
and then for games.
Mm-hmm.
My last thing is, do you have any feedback for me as far as what last season went, last season, how it went, obviously, what you think we can do to improve, what you want to see, and I think what your goals are. I always go, what are your goals? I was asking myself today, what are your goals? Why do you do this? What do you want? Right? How can we meet your expectations? Right? You want to win every game, obviously. Everybody's gonna say no. You do. I know you do. Right? I want to win every game too. But then, what do you want, and why do you play for Juventus versus playing for Vienna? Right? Why? Convenience? What is it? Is it location? Is it because you believe in what we're doing? Obviously, that's what I want. I want you to believe that there's something here that we're doing versus what someone else is doing. So, any feedback you can give me,
I'd say two things. One, what you said earlier that, we have to, as the kids get older and the sort of requirements become more serious in terms of actually doing well. I would like you to be very consistent about, people need to attend practices, and if they don't, there will be some consequence, and it's gotta be somewhat without fear and favor, just to instill that kind of habit. I think even, we obviously have, very good, and we have good players, but even the very good ones who might not feel the need to attend every practice, I think they still need to have that discipline.
I think so too.
It's just a life skill more than even just a soccer thing.
And I think that's why last season, I was faced with, do you play with 9 or do you play with 11, and do you jeopardize, obviously the 9 kids have to go on the field and
Yeah.
play under man.
And
but
sometimes it might not be fully under the kids' control, as often as the
Right.
parents, obviously, but, yeah, you know that. The other thing is, that would be just personally helpful, is a slightly longer planning horizon. Things happen sometimes a little ad hoc, I feel.
Sure.
And sometimes that's just what it is, but I also think that often, if you just kind of look at the calendar for the rest of the week, like for example, we're gonna have practice tomorrow after we had the tournament this week.
Scheduled?
Yeah.
We're having practice tomorrow.
Yeah,
Left it on.
yeah, often we don't have it after,
I know.
like, yeah,
Yeah.
so, but, that would be an example,
When was this meeting scheduled?
Yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah,
right.
so another example, yeah, so just a little bit of just a kind of a planning habit would be helpful.
Definitely, no, definitely.
Yeah.
I'd throw in, it's just like the boys are together, not just necessarily at practice or at a game, but just a sense of camaraderie and
Yeah.
team ownership and
Sure.
team building. And not to say that we haven't done it before, because I know we've taken the kids like to hike up the top of, not Mount Diablo, but yeah,
Yeah.
but like just things like that. I think as a
More
group, as a
activities
community, I
outside.
mean, just something that builds the morale.
I will tell you, I have 2 other teams, and for me, it's tough, because I only have so many hours in the day and so many days in the week. I do have a family, and I struggle with this a lot, where I know what it takes to be able to build a good team and to have that extra it factor, and I think Derek hit it on the head. The camaraderie is huge. I saw it last season when they were not in sync. I saw the season before when they were, right? That Phoenix trip really helped us bond. Then we went to the LA Galaxy Cup, and it was complete opposite.
Yeah.
One of the things too that I feel that I have to now am adjusting is I can't take 2 teams to a tournament anymore, because I can't focus on one or the other team, right? It's tough, right? And I think that, like, one of the things that I thought about today is, well, this may be ad hoc or a little bit, out of the blue. If I look behind me, which I am, see most of the kids are hanging out and getting to know each other, especially since we have a new group, right? So this is bonus for me. One of the things I would like to see too is, since we're mostly local, maybe we have a barbecue or some food. The best advice that I've gotten as far as camaraderie and community building is over food.
Well, we've done like Stefano's hosted the Baldesi's with making gnocchi or
Yeah.
pasta, and then I know Shashank and his family's invited everybody over to make roti and other
We were just
things.
discussing that.
And it's just like it's a really special opportunity and community that we have with so many different diverse experiences and backgrounds and opportunity just to be together. And I think that would be something good for the boys and good for our sense of camaraderie. Yeah.
No, yeah, and again, I know different cultures, different, that's what makes this kind of unique, in a good way. We have different cultures and backgrounds, I'm Hispanic, and,
And I think it's a good point, but it's like, it's not just the 3 of us, like, when we went to the Death Mountain, it was just, it was Archie kind of instilling that idea, and everyone got together, but you guys all have voices, like, anyone can bring up an idea and organize, like, it doesn't just have to be the 3 of us.
Yeah.
And that was Archie's idea, and then we went to Death Mountain and
Left our souls
And
there.
just keep that in mind.
Juno and I
Yeah.
almost died.
Reborn after that.
Right, so it's
Keep
like,
that in mind, yeah,
that's,
because
when you're pointing fingers like, oh, well, we should do more and we should bring the team together, like, you guys are responsible too, like, we're all a community.
That's why I'm so thankful for Shashank and inviting us over for roti.
a bowling night or something fun, like, for example, for me, the more I get them away from you as parent, I'm being very blunt, the better. Because now it's come to a point where, and this is something that Juventus is gonna mention when they're here, they don't wanna see too much parent involvement. Even now, we're gonna, as you see us go forward this season, we're gonna start implementing rules as far as when parents can show up to the field, where they have to be positioned, because I'm seeing it as well. It's a distraction to me, it's a distraction to the kids, right? I like you all, but I don't come to your job and I'm like,
Bring your kid to practice.
I don't do that. Now, I know you're paying for something that's extracurricular, but at the end of the day, we're competing with other clubs and we're competing with other programs. And again, you never know what you might have. And as you see that the performance starts to improve, you'll start to see what I mean by that. So for me too, it's okay, how can I schedule myself where maybe you are involved, but at the end just drop us off, or, support us as opposed to being too much, but obviously, there's gotta be a balance.
Yeah, I will say as a positive, like, as parents, I think, and maybe you have a different opinion, everyone has really restrained themselves as far as coaching, like secondary coaches on the sideline, especially during this tournament. I mean, I think we've helped you coach
We're
way
very
too
good
much.
as parents. We,
And I
That's one
think
positive.
no
everyone
conflicts,
does.
yeah, we're
Yeah.
excellent, yeah.
So put it this way, and again, I'm being blunt.
I know handle the ball calls also.
You guys are.
I don't feel I know enough, and that must mean that you must not really know at all. Because I don't know enough, that's the truth. I have an A license and, I'm this and that, and I played in college, but I still don't know enough. The team today, coach today, I thought knew more than me, right? And that's how we learn, right? So, but again, if I don't know enough, then I don't know what you're talking about, right? So,
We prefer to help these sideline refs.
there you go.
I like the strategies on the
That's the
sideline.
only thing we do.
Yeah.
I'm kind of
Go
new,
ahead.
I'm kind of new to here, I just
Yeah.
want to know, how, I can get the feedback from you regarding my kids, behavior, or
course.
anything, you want me immediately to get to know, maybe we can help, at home or, off the field, so how you guys, do this kind of communication?
That's a good, I'll be the first to say that, the club's making an effort as far as the feedback and the evaluation goes. Again, to me, I found it challenging because I do have other duties apart from just this team. But most of my feedback is a lot of the times with the players themselves, directly to them. This is what you need to do, this is what we need to work on. And I think this season, we can be better, I can be better at that. As far as when I feel that I do need to contact you, right, I can't tell you, Logan, I need you to work with Logan on recognizing when to play a wall pass and when not. So that's what he needs, but that's what I can do, right? Now, I think for you, I think the most important thing is, and I was telling this to Danielle and Archie, the competitive nature of the players, the desire to compete and to excel at what they're doing, right? You expect it out of them at school. I'm sure you're not happy if they come with a below par grade, right? And you let them know, right? I'm assuming. Why not do the same in here? Not results, not, performance as far as how many balls they lost, how many goals they scored, but effort. How much did you run? How much did you, because again, effort is something that you can always control, right? That's some coach told me that. Effort is almost something you can control. Effort brings out talent for me, right? It really polishes that. So that's something that you can be more accountable to them. Hey, if I'm making the effort to bring you here and do this, you need to make the effort to perform. And you should then, if they're not gonna perform, expect the coach to bench you or do whatever, right? Or drop you from the team. And that's it, right? I've had parents come to me last season and say, well, why is so-and-so not playing? Why is my kid not playing? He should be playing over this kid and that kid. And when I heard that, I said, this parent's lost. He doesn't have no clue. He doesn't watch, right? He just wants to talk about because he must feel something within him. But in reality, it's no, your kid needs to play harder. He needs to be better. He needs to be better than the guy ahead of him. Just add, not to compare, but just be better. The coach is not looking to put your kid down. No, I love all your kids. I'm hoping to support them. But they need to perform and excel and try, right? And if they're not, then there has to be consequences of it. Okay? I think we should head out. Yeah. We start at